Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 game in my gearing. This is my first game after the hot patch from 8.0 or 0.80, I guess would be the technical term. Going over the matchmaking, the enemy team has a midway um, radar, radar threat wise, have a Moskva, Stalingrad, and a Cleveland. The destroyer threat, Hargumo Z46. Now, to note, this RNG division, I face their team frequently in Hurricane and Clan battles, as well as No CV. All of these are, clans that are, Typhoon, Hurricane rated, and I expect I expect good performances out of those guys. And looking at my team, I don't see any names or clans that I'm familiar with, so I know already this is going to be a very uphill game. Um, Obviously, Stalingrad Moskva Midway Division is starting to get a little try hard right there. Um, but we're gonna give it a go, see what we can do. So I'm letting my team know that I'm going up to CCAP. I'm looking back at my Minotaur, and yes, you can probably hear the dinosaurs in the background. Um, Looking at this Minotaur, I'm trying to get this guy to push up because he's not really doing anything back there as far as helping the team out. I mean, you've got two DDs. Your battleships are not what's important. You need to get AA over the cap and be able to basically shoot anything that I spot up here. And that's just not happening. So I just give up on the whole thing, and that happens sometimes in random battles. You look, maybe you can make a play, and if somebody doesn't want to do it, you just roll with it. I'm not gonna waste the smoke up here. If that guy wants to camp back on the sea line, whatever. Instead, I've got a job to do, and that's getting spots up here. And my torps are almost up, and I'm just taking my time here. I'm looking, trying to see, where's planes, where's the radar. I've got the Stalingrad spotted. That's going to tell me that the Moskva is most likely in this area too. And I see the no CV Montana. There's the Yamato. And just dropping some dual-purpose torps. I know there's a DD in the cap. I'm just gonna back in and just try to bump this guy. And I spot the Z46, and just gonna go to town on this guy a little bit. Z46 is shooting AP. The initial volley had broken his engine, and I mean the torpedoes are all over him right from the get-go because I had pre-fired him, and he has a really short game. Now I've got the midway attack planes on me. I'm popping or focusing the AA sector now, and right now I'm trying to kind of see what the AA is going to look like, because it wasn't much to write home last time. I think the CV pulled off waiting for me to pop defensive fire. Now he's coming in. I go on ahead, I pop defensive fire now. And I mean, that's a solid hit right there, 5K. Yeah, don't want to be absorbing that a lot. But the path that he basically gets taken on, my positioning, I came back up here because I've got Montana, Minotaur, and he basically just got one drop off. So, that's something to consider. Now, You know, out of that I did 4.8k HP damage to those planes with defensive fire, so I'm a little sketchy on, you know, how that AA worked. Now I'm going to make a bit of a positioning error up here. I don't really get punished for it, but in general, this little area right here is a trap. What I should have done is I should have basically, rather than turn this way, turn back this way and try to cap from back in here. And unfortunately, my Minotaur didn't hang in the smoke. He just bailed. So that smoke screen was absolutely wasted. I mean, if this guy had been in my smoke screen, you know, he'd be having, you know, good shots at those guys down there. I'm looking to see. I can't imagine that this rune is actually running Hydro in today. Wait a minute. It's the Moskva. That's the Moskva's radar. I just noticed the Moskva there. So I'm just sitting here and I'm just throttle jockeying right now. Nothing's really shooting at me accurately, and just gonna ride out the radar. I was inching over because if it was Hydro, you know, it would go on for minutes and minutes. While this is all going on, I'm just getting, you know, long range torp hits on targets, and this is something that I'm kind of thinking about with other destroyers. For example, the Japanese DDs, the torp boats, they lost a lot of torp range when the CVs died. And if CVs are coming back, particularly if you're allowing multiple CVs per game, I see absolutely no reason why Japanese DDs can't have, you know, the old at least the range put back on their torpedoes, where at tier 8 you had access to 15-kilometer torps, and you did that because you simply could not reliably do damage with CVs all over the place and those back in those days. So I'm at tier 9. You know, the old Kagero had access to the 20-kilometer Shima torps that were actually decent back in the day. So I'm on the fence, kind of looking at that from a DD balance standpoint. From my perspective, Kagero is probably a boat that's really a struggle right now, because you have to get very close for, you know, a CV threat where, you know, like that Midway dropping me did 5k to me. Kagero has less HP than me, or than a Gearing, and you know, that's nasty to try to deal with. So I think that there might be some balance concerns with CVs if they are coming back in actual numbers that are going to be sustainable. You know, I just don't think that you know, this is. I think that, you know, they might have to look at how DDs were played back in the day, and how high tier Japanese and other torp boats played, like even including Gearing, was CVs forced teams to, you know, come together so they could focus their anti-air. For example, take this group here: Ibuki, Bismarck, Yamato, all coming together to combine AA, because they all really don't have the best AA and, you know, out there, but the three of them together are fairly strong. The, you know, torp boats of the day wouldn't necessarily be trying to torp this you know, a specific ship, the Bismarck, Yamato, the Ibuki, they would be torping the entire group, trying to basically harass this entire group, try to break it up uh, for your team. Now, I've got a low health Montana here. I know this is kind of a sketchy thing, smoking up a battleship. And I mean, you know, it's one of those things. This guy, he's already dead. He takes the hit, so I know he's done. He's shot, and it's just a matter of time before he's overmatched. And there it goes. And at this point, I've got the Midway dive bombers coming back in. I'm circling forward because I want to try to finish off this Yamato. I got another torp hit on him. He's low. I'd like to be able to try to finish this guy off before he can die. He is flooding, so you know I might be able to finish him off. I'm just watching right now, seeing if it's gonna stop, heal, or whatever. And he ticks down to the flood, so I'm gonna start turning out. And here comes the enemy push here. I mean, at this stage of the game, you know, I have no support over here. You know, it's done on this flank. So I'm just kiting back. Now the issue with gearing, it's a slow boat. Moskva, Stalingrad at full speed, you don't gain much distance on these guys. Trying to focus the dive bombers. And that was a really hard hit. You know, it's one of those things, you kind of lose track of the dive bombers when they're over you. And I think there's a little bit of a delay when they drop and when the bombs hit. So, you know, it's one of those things. I'm trying to juke, changing my speed, you know, turning. While all that was going on, I landed 2 torps on the Moskva. Yeah, but I mean, this game it's pretty much over. They're flipping the last capture point. I mean, this Ibuki, he's just gonna get nuked. You know, he's broadside to a Montana here. You know, there's a Monarch. I mean, he's done. You know, this isn't gonna do anything back there. You know, 2 battleships together, yeah, that you got crossfires. You're not doing anything with that shit. So I know at this point the game's over. So I'm just pushing in, trying to get any sort of damage I can get before the end of the game. Excuse me. You get radared again, and right here I am I'm looking to dump torps on this Stalingrad. They're honestly low probability torps. There's a lot of different ways this guy could go, including just stopping right where he's at and shooting over that low point in the island. I drop 1 set of torps short, thinking that he might try to turn in rather than keep kiting out, but he just keeps right on going. And at this point, you know, enemy team's at 800 points, trying to shoot down, you know, a couple extra planes, and it's alright, guys. You're alright. The game's pretty much over, so I'm just gonna smoke up and shoot at this Stalingrad a bit. And I mean, Yeah, I know I'm inside radar range, but at this point I've just decided, you know, fuck it. I don't want to sit here and prolong this game any longer than it's already gonna be. So this is just one of those things. I mean, you can't have you can't have dumb shit going on in these games where we had a Des Moines, you know, all alone in A cap. We had a Minotaur all alone in B cap. And it's shit like that against players of this caliber. They're gonna eat them alive, and you know you're not gonna be able to do anything with that. So, you know, I knew this game was gonna be a struggle. I basically gave it. You're all right. You're all right. So this is me going down here shortly. Gonna get dropped by the die bombers, shot by everybody and their sister. And boom, game. And we wait for the lovely UI. It actually worked for once. So 132,000 damage, 9 planes shot down. Honestly, the AA feels a little too strong for this build. Um, it's I don't feel that I should have done anything to net 9 plane kills, but and I'm gonna be interested in seeing how they're stacking the XP, because before it was on based on the actual plane kills itself. I'm wondering if they're breaking that down for HP done to the planes. So if anybody knows more information about it, I'd like to see it. I basically did 1400 base XP. Um, you know, most of the Yamato, almost all of the Z46. You know, a bit on Moskva, Stalin, yada yada. Um, one full base cap. 2-note, 82,000 spotting damage. So, you know, even with everything going on, I was still providing vision for the team, that kind of thing. And I mean, at the end of the day, my AA didn't really do a lot to slow down the CV. I think that this game, you know, would play out roughly the same even if I was in, you know, like a Shima, something like that. I would still play it that the same kind of manner that I did. Try to use my smoke to help my team rather than help me. I'd approach the cap pretty much the same way, with the exception of I'd hope I'd be smart enough to cap where I'm not blocked. Buddy, leave my coke alone. Come on, knock it off. Mr. Grabby Hands over here. But yeah, that's the game. I had a lot of people asking me in PMs and messages about how I would play the Japanese destroyers, and the real struggles that I see. Yeah, the real struggles that I see are boats like Kagero. I'll do what I can to get some replays up for those boats um, in the next couple days. Um, if you guys have any questions, comments, leave them below. I'm gonna cut the video short because the dinosaurs are starting to get restless, and I don't want to have to redo this video this close to the end. So hope you guys are having a good night. I will talk to you later.